All right, so in this session, we'll be looking at how to do the characterization with our own skeleton. If you recall, we have a basic skeleton that was fixed, and I'm just going to go ahead and open that. So the skeleton has a tail, and that I went ahead and I renamed. It won't be part of the characterization, it won't be part of the HIK solver, but I just wanted to keep it clean, so I did name it. All right. So the first thing I need to do is obviously bring up this tool. I can either go to Skeleton, Human IK Characterization, or under the Window menu. This window is just made up of the one big image mostly, which all the required nodes, and a few of the buttons that, I don't know if you recall, look a lot like the skeleton generator. Right? So the first thing to do is create a new characterization. And unlike the skeleton generator window, the button looks exactly the same, right? But it behaves differently. This will not create a skeleton. It will only create a character. You can also go to the blue box, character, and create. It will do the same thing. It doesn't look like Maya's created any nodes, but if I go and show my DAG objects only to off, I'll see my characters here. The first thing I want to do is rename it. I'll call it test and OK. And unlike the skeleton generator, right, it doesn't rename any of my joints. It only renames the character. So now I'm ready to start filling in and to tell the solver which node to use for which body part. So I want to select the arm and go right mouse button, assign selected bone. And obviously the first thing we see is that the right arm is not being picked up automatically. We want to go to edit, make sure that mirror matching is checked on, which it is here, but we want to make sure now that the configure mirror matching has our naming convention. And if you see, right, I have left is the L and R is just an R. Is for the right. It doesn't have any on the underscore. So this naming convention is not part of the mirror configuration right now. So I just want to make sure that I add it. I do an add, L is R. And in the previous lesson, I don't know if you remember, but we talked about the left being X positive. So this is why here, right? Maya will think about it in the X positive is the left. So this is very important here. I want to click on OK. Just because I don't like any surprises, I'm going to go ahead and check it again. So here it is. And hopefully it's going to work, right? And bam. So I just select my next joint and the right arm is automatically selected. So I just want to go ahead and do all of them. Right? I want to just do the hip, so on and so forth. Right? For some reason, it's not picking up the leg or the foot. So I'll just go ahead and do that. I have my reference node here. I did create a root. So it's not a root joint, it's just a root transform node that's located between the legs. So I just want to make sure that add that as a reference. And I want to go ahead and put the left hand and the first spine joint. So now we have what we called all the required nodes that are connected. And right away, our characterization becomes valid. I have a lot of extra joints, you know, mostly in my hand and in the spine. So I can add them to the characterization if I want, or I could just create my control rig right now. I'm going to go ahead and go into the spine view and add the extra joints that I have. Right. And I'm going to do the same thing for the hand. All right. And I don't know if you remember, but it's very important to have the naming, right? The numbers on the joints. So if I just, for the thumb, I started from the bottom up, just from the middle, I'm going to start from the N, right? And you'll see that it goes red. Not only this goes red, but my validation status is no longer valid. So I couldn't characterize this. Basically, what is expected here is to not have a number 4, right? So if you look at the naming convention, I have is left hand middle 3, but it's the end, it's currently the end joint. So until I go ahead and I just get all of these ones in, I won't be going back to a green status. So it's very important that when you name your joints, they start from 1, 2, 3, 4. So I won't go ahead and just add all of these. Once we have everything connected, right, you can just lock it. Okay? So next lesson, we'll be looking at how to create the control rig and what exactly it does.